Hello, it's Jim over here. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Collectibles from My Closet. And this is a show where I just kind of go through things that I find in boxes in my closet and show them to you. And a lot of times they are like 20-year-old toys or older, things that you may have forgotten about or you haven't seen, or maybe you have seen them but it's been a while. And I usually focus on horror toys because that's primarily what I collect. But I have occasionally done a couple of things that were sort of off horror, science fiction, music, that kind of thing. And I've had some people ask me and say, hey, why don't you do another non-horror toy show? So I decided I would do another non-horror toy show. And this is just a mixed genre show of toys that will show different things from different genres that they've made toys out of. And a lot of them come from things that have somehow inspired me or influenced me or something in the past in my childhood years ago that have just stuck with me. So let's start. I want to start out with a line of toys that McFarlane came out with based on one of my all-time favorite Japanese anime films. Yeah, Todd McFarlane came out with a ton of really cool toys many years ago. Some of my favorite things, and Akira is one of my all-time Japanese animated films, and I was very happy to see that he had come out with this awesome line. You see here's Canada and his ultra cool motorcycle, which is a character in itself in the film. He came out with individual packages like that, but there was also a box set that looked like this. It had it's the deluxe box set that had Canada and the bike all in one. And it's the figure and stuff is a little bit different in this than it is in the separate package. Now, of course, he had to make some of the Nemesis characters, and this is Joker from the Clown Bike Gang, which is featured prominently in one of the awesome scenes in the film up front. There's his steel pipe that is also featured heavily in that scene, if you know the movie. And his other Nemesis here, that's Tetsuo, and you see he's got two arms. He's got the metal arm, but then he's got the one that he mutates into, and it's just a very cool arm. You can see it's got the fingers that mutate and all that kind of stuff. So you can swap out the arms on him. And then, of course, he made one of the star, Akira, himself, on his little throne. And it's my least favorite of the group, but it's kind of neat with the throne and all that. You see he's not quite as detailed as the others. Now, out of the box, they look like this, and I'll just show you kind of a little closer look at them without the glare through the packaging. But this is Akira on his throne with the neon lights, and it would be awesome if these things lit up, but they don't. And here's a little bit better look. You can see that he's not overly detailed. The joints are really awkward and stuff like that, but the whole throne idea is neat. And then we go over here and look at Canada's bike a little closer, and you can see like the scarring and stuff like that as to where it has been beat up, and there's Canada right there, riding it, looking all cool in his red leather outfit. Here's that mutated Tetsuo Arm. Look at those fingers that look like toes. When he starts to mutate in the film, spoiler, and his arm grows, and you can see his concerned look right there of what is happening to my arm. And then Joker from the Clown Biker Gang, he looks cool in the package, but he's even cooler out of the package because you can really see him, his equipment, and look at that stand, the little base that he's on. I love that. The road with the stenciled Akira, it looks like it's spray painted on the pavement there. And just a really neat figure that definitely looks better out of the package than in. So there's McFarlane's line of Akira toys. I love them, one of my favorite animes. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Now, a show that I was really into when I was a kid was the $6 Million Man, and I had all the $6 Million Man toys, but the one that I actually held on to was this guy. And he's in really good shape. I used to play with him every day, but he came out in the 70s. It's Bigfoot. And, well, here, I'll just let you take a little closer look at him. I was fascinated with this character when he debuted on the show. It's this half-man, half-monster robot that you find out in the episode. He's actually a robot, spoiler alert. And I understand that it's tough to find these with this chest plate because it pops off like that when Steve Austin hits him to reveal the workings inside him. And I happen to have one with the chest plate. Look at there. So apparently the ones with the chest plates are worth a lot of money. I don't know. But I loved this Bigfoot character when I was a kid. Just fascinated with him and played with this toy every day. Now, speaking of Bigfoot, which we now know if you watch television, his name is Daryl. Well, I guess this one's named Harry. This is a Harry and the Hendersons doll that came out, and there were a couple different versions of this doll. I love this particular version, the sculpt of the face, the way the hair lays. I don't know why this plushie is just magical to me, but it is. This is the version that does not make sounds and does not talk. There is a version that talks. This is the one here by Galoob from 1990, and he just kind of stands there and looks cool. But there you go. There is Bigfoot in all his glory as Harry and the Hendersons. Now, I have been interested in martial arts all my life and have been involved in martial arts in some way or form all of my life, so it should be no surprise that one of my big influences growing up was Bruce Lee. Now, I already did a collectible show about Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, which you can go back and watch that with a bunch of toys and things from my Bruce Lee collection. But since I made that particular episode, I've come across a couple other new Bruce Lee toys that I had to get and thought I would show those to you. This is a Bruce Lee figure that came out from Diamond Select, and I'm not so great on the face. The face doesn't look as much like Bruce Lee as it does Bruce Lee, L-I, or Bruce Lee, or whoever started making movies as Bruce Lee after Bruce died. His face looks more like that, but the figure overall is kind of neat because I like how you have a choice of heads, a choice of hands, a choice of weapons, and things like that. On the back, you've got a little information about Bruce with some photos, and I kept him in the box. Some of the Bruce Lee stuff I took out that I have, but I kept him in the box just because it has this information on the back about Bruce Lee and, you know, the Green Hornet and about his death, just kind of condensed into a little paragraph there. But kind of a cool figure just because of the amount of different poses you can do and different weapons choices and things like that. Now, Diamond Select also came out with a Diamond Gallery diorama, and this is a really cool figure which looks much more like Bruce Lee in the face, and he's wearing his famous Game of Death outfit. And it's just, the packaging is nothing special. It's just a square box that you can see through, and, you know, it doesn't have much on it. It's called Bruce Lee Kick is the name of the figure. It has a quote from Bruce on the back. So, of course, you know, not being real interested in this packaging, since it's kind of boring, I did open this one, and I keep him on a shelf. Here's a look at what he looks like outside of the package. He is a PVC figure. He's not posable. You can't move him. You can't set him up any particular way. This is what he is. And there you can see a better look at his face. And the sculpt on this one looks much more like Bruce. But loving the Game of Death outfit there. He's got his nunchucks behind him. And then I think it's funny that there's this like little lone board laying behind him. I think you can see it right there. I'll pan down here and you can see a little better. There's a board laying right next to him, which, you know, he's never going to break because, well, boards don't fight back. There you go. I had to do a Bruce Lee quote. Anyway, so very cool little diorama figure. Now, talking of martial arts, I had to get one of these, Hong Kong Phooey. I love the Hong Kong Phooey cartoon growing up. Little martial arts puppy there. And, of course, Pop had to make him, licensed by Hanna Barbera. And then, not to be outdone, McFarlane came out with a Hanna Barbera Series 1 set of figures, and I didn't get any of them other than Hong Kong Phooey. But you can see here that he's got his little karate action going there. He moves a little bit. There's some movement there, some karate chop action, and a little springing back. And here's a look at a few of the other things that McFarlane made from the Saturday morning cartoons like the Flintstones and stuff like that. But of course I was only interested in Hong Kong Phooey. Now, just to show you sort of what he does outside of the packaging, this is him. Now you see the little criminal, which is the typical cutesy Hanna Barbera criminal there. That's oh my, oh my, oh my. And then you've got Hong Kong Phooey flying through the air, and his little supporter. Look, giving the big power to the people. Hands up. Now, you'll notice there's a little lever on the front here, and this is where you get the karate action going right here, and it's tough to do with one hand, but there we go. There's karate chop and karate kick action right there. Hiya, 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 Hong Kong Phooey. Anyway, great classic show. And speaking of Saturday morning shows, we might as well segue into this. I loved Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. And here's Sigmund. There was a Krofft Superstar series that came out, and I love this packaging. The packaging is great. Old TV, got the rabbit ears on top of the TV, with Sigmund on TV with his little lobster pal there. And I was just fascinated by Sigmund. Also, another show came out earlier than Sigmund, of course, was HR Puffin Stuff. So the Krofft Superstars line came out with a HR Puffin Stuff figure, and there he is right there. And I really watched this show because I love Witchy Poo. I was fascinated with Witchy Poo, and I wish they would have made a Witchy Poo figure. Maybe they did. I don't know, and I missed it. But there he is. And when you're watching Saturday morning shows, you've got to eat your Saturday morning breakfast cereal. And why not have some Frankenberry and Count Chocula? Here's some wacky wobblers, some little bobbleheads of those two characters. And yeah, I know I said that this is not a horror toy episode, but I mean, we're talking about Saturday morning shows, and you got to talk about Saturday morning cereal, and well, there you go. How could you have any better than Frankenberry and Count Chocula? Right? Yeah. Now, with COVID going on right now, and everybody really concerned about the virus and germs and the spread of germs and stuff like that, I thought I would show these. These came out quite a while ago, and they are Germ Toys. I think these were actually called Germs when the toys were released, and there are several of them. I've got some more in a box somewhere, but I just happened to come across these two first. They have these little germs, and they come in test tubes, and along with the test tube comes a lab report, which tells you something about the germs. And for instance, this one is Sweaty Stinky Osseous, which is the body odor germ, and it tells you information about the body odor and stuff like that. So, well, there you go. Now, since we're talking about germs, we should probably talk about Sanitizer. So let's sanitize and get some I Love My Penis hand sanitizer. Yes, it kills 99.99% of all germs after contact right there, and leaves your hands nice and fresh. Yes, I Love My Penis hand sanitizer. And speaking of penises, you may want to pick up one of these. Yes, it's a grow your own hooker, perfect for those lonely nights. And notice that she is 100% disease free, and she does it all. So there you go. There's your grow your own hooker. Just add water, and perfect for the lonely nights and bachelor parties. Okay, so the episode just got like way off target and tangent there with hookers and penises and stuff like that. So let's refocus now back to the seriousness of collecting, because it's very serious, I guess. So one of my all-time favorite films growing up was Jaws, and McFarlane came out with just this beast of a diorama. This is one of my favorite things that I own, and it's been on a shelf for a very long time, for many years, and you can tell by the thickness of the dust on it. Yeah, it seriously needs some dust. So look through the dust at all the amazing detail in this. It's the orca as it's sinking in the final conflict scene of Jaws. And right there you can see the shark up on the boat with the orca sinking, and Quint in his mouth. Quint is covered in dust as well as blood. But amazing detail in this little diorama. I love this. I love it to death. And what the heck? Let's talk about comic book villains. My favorite comic book villain is the Joker. And I got this troy ounce of silver. It's got Jack Nicholson's Joker on the front of it. And these were released for the 50th anniversary of Batman. And on the back it's got the bat symbol, and tells you that it's 1 troy ounce of fine silver right there. So just kind of a neat little coin. What the heck, might as well show it. I came across it in a box, and that's for the Joker fans. And I'm sure you can already tell that a lot of the things in my collection give away how old I am. So it should be no surprise that I love this. Look, it's Robbie the Robot. How cool is he? And it's not a very detailed Robbie the Robot, but it's still cool. I think he's really neat. And he lights up and talks and walks around and stuff like this. These came out not long ago, actually. I got this at Walmart. And, well, let's just take a look at what he does.
Gentlemen, I am to transport you to the residence. For your convenience, I am monitored to respond to the name Robbie.
Now, just as a little hodgepodge type thing, I've just thrown these in here at random for a couple of things because, they were fun and I've enjoyed them. I love Mr. Potato Head, and I love Raiders of the Lost Ark, so why would I not love Taters of the Lost Ark? Yes, it's an Indiana Jones Mr. Potato Head, and it has 2 batteries included because it plays sounds. And just for copyright purposes, I can't really play it, but this is sort of what it does. And I'm sure that's as much as we can get away with. There you go. No copyright infringement. Alright, moving on. Let's move on to some natural disasters. I lived through the Mount St. Helens volcanic eruption. I was living up there at the time, not far away. And actually went through the Seattle area and stuff like that, and flew over the volcano while the ash was coming out, and saw a lot of the destruction and what happened with it. And they came out with these cool little globes. This is about the size of it. It's a good size, and they put some of the ash in it just for commemorative purposes. And I got one of those, and it's cool. It just reminds me of a piece of history that I lived through. Now here's a pop that, well, just because it's Sharknado. Why not? You need a Sharknado pop, and I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it than that because, well, Sharknado just says it all. And lastly, I thought I would show you this. There was a film that I did several years ago called Beverly Lane. It's a zombie horror film, and in that I played just this crazy magician. And they came out with action figures of the characters from that movie, and one of them was made of my character. And here he is. Yes, an action figure made in my likeness. Of course, I was younger then and had darker hair instead of gray hair. So he's got the dark goatee. It's the same outfit that I was wearing, doing card tricks, things like that. Yeah, and I took him out of the packaging so that I could play with myself. Not play, well, you know what I mean, right? So thanks for watching another episode of Collectibles from My Closet. I hope you have enjoyed the video and enjoyed seeing some of the crazy toys and stuff. If you haven't already, go back and watch some of the previous episodes. There's lots of fun stuff there to find, especially horror related and science fiction related. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And join us back for more fun later in another video. Thanks for watching.